So today we will be trying to graph this polynomial function 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. And the first thing we have to do in order to graph it is to fully factor this polynomial. And we will do this by using the rational root theorem, which states that any roots of our polynomial are in the form of the possible factors of our constant value, 3, over any possible factors of our leading coefficient, which is 2. So therefore, our possible roots are plus or minus 1, and plus or minus 3 over plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2. And so we'll just plug some of these values into our polynomial, and whichever results in 0 is a root of our polynomial. So let's try 1. So put 1 into x, and this results in -4, which is not 0, and therefore 1 is not a root. So let's try -1. And this is 0, so therefore we know that -1 is a root of our polynomial function, and that x plus 1 is a factor. And with a factor, we can now use synthetic division to divide x plus 1 out of our polynomial and find the other factors. So set it up like so. Using our original coefficients and using the rule steps of synthetic division. So bring it down, then multiply -1 and 2. Then adding these two together and multiplying again, adding, multiplying, and therefore we get the factor of 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. So our polynomial is now factored into 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 times x plus 1, as we factored out before. And we can use the same steps to factor 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Or we could see that it's a quadratic and we could factor by decomposition, or whichever method you like, which would result in x minus 3 and 2x minus 1. And now that we've fully factored our polynomial, we could graph it. And the first step is to find the zeros of our polynomial, which is real easy. We just set each factor to 0 and solve for x. And so we have our zeros 3, 1/2, and -1. And now we just need the y-intercept. And we find this by setting x equal to 0 in our polynomial. So f of 0 equals 2 zeros and 3 squared. So our y-intercept is 0, 3. And we can begin to graph. So sketch out our graph. Plot our zeros in 3, 1/2, and -1, and plot our y-intercept, 3. And now our graph is looking a little bit empty, so we can find another point. And let's choose 1. So we put 1 into our function. And again, -4, so we know a point on our graph is 1, -4. So 1, -4 we can easily plot. And so we have the points on our graph, and now we just need to know how to connect them. So first of all, our degree is 3, and our leading coefficient is 2. Since our leading coefficient is positive, we know that the graph will end on the right side pointing up, and our degree is odd, so on the left side it will start on in the opposite direction of our right side, which is down. And since all of our factors only have a multiplicity of 1, we simply just go through the points without any bouncing off or special curves. So start down on the left, go through the points, and arrowheads on each side, and there you go. There is a sketch of our polynomial 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 4x plus 3.